So you have different currencies in Arknights. The first one I want to talk to you about is called T-Creds. And T-Creds are going to be used when you upgrade your operators or upgrade your weapons. So you're going to need a nice supply of these because you're going to constantly be upgrading different operators. And you can get these anywhere from the protocol space, getting T-Creds, from exploration, from completing missions. There are different areas where you can get T-Creds, so you're going to have a lot of different ways to get this. The second one that I wanted to talk to you about is in your regional development management. So here we're in Aurylene. You have the Aurylene stock build, and if you switch into Valley 4, you have the Valley stock build. Now both of these are going to be basically used for the stock redistribution area, where you can buy things like sanity usage, valley engraving, different items, weapons, and you can also buy gifts for your operators, which I'll talk about a little later. But there are many different things you can purchase in the regional development area. So every day you're going to get daily credits. You can see here I can press F5 and go to the credit store. And here you get to collect credits. And you can see right now I have 188. So you get 300 credits daily. And with those credits, you get to buy everything from T-bills, T-credits, or you can have different items that can rank up your weapons or operators. And you also have a refresh down here at the bottom right. And that will come in handy when you get so many points that you want to just refresh and get a new group of items to choose from. Because basically when you have friends, I'm going to show you, you can see up here you have 5 of 5. And what this for is clues and also assists. So once you get here, you're going to press Y. And now what you're looking at, you're in a guest terminal. And what you can do, you have a clue exchange. And you can see up here my credits are going up with each one. And then a production assist. And what this does, it gives them, your friends, a boost in their production. And you have 5 that you can do a day. So then you end. And then you go to your next friend. And you look at these icons, you have a yellow and a blue. That means they have a clue exchange and a production assist available. Press Y, back at the guest terminal, and now I'm going to do it again. 558 right now. And you can see this is how you build your credits, so you can just purchase more items in the credit store. So you also want to look at your dailies. And this is something you get every day. You're able to have these small, like I guess, quests or tasks. Defeat 20 enemies or spend 120 sanity. And you go up all the way to 100. And at 100, you're going to get a sanity booster, which is really good. So you want to try to do this every day if possible. So a large part of what you're doing is going to be the AIC. Not necessarily spending your time in the AIC, but when you set it up, it's going to give you a lot of currency in the game. And it's going to help you out a lot to have it as efficient as possible. So with the AIC, you're going to start off with the sub pack. And with the sub pack, you're going to have 6 outgoing ports like you're looking at here. And you can, of course, you could change that to whatever item you want to be outgoing. Yeah, and then you're going to have 7 incoming ports on each side. So you're going to have 14 going into your depot where you're going to store all of your material that you craft. And you're going to have to look at your bus station. When you set these up, you're going to have unloaders that's going to be just like the outgoing ports that you can set up. And you're going to have loaders also that you can set up to go into your depot. Now when it comes to starting your AIC, to be very basic with you, you're going to start with placing a unit. And once you place that unit, you're going to look at it and you're going to have formulas. And this is basically what you can craft with this particular device. And these formulas are going to help you figure out what you need to do as far as getting the correct inputs to create your output. And once you set it up, you can see down at the bottom of my screen, you have your quick setup. So you got to set up a belt. And with this belt, you're going to just take it to whatever loader or end loader or to the next device. And that's basically the start of how you set up your AIC. And once you get the correct formulas and you know what you need, you're going to just get those crafts because we have blueprints. And you have a system blueprint for different items. As you progress through the game, you can have a blueprint for Zeronite, Zircon, components for gear. So you can look at it, and when you try to place these, it actually gives you all of the units that you need to create that particular item. Of course, you can see here I don't have the space for it, but if you were starting out, you could kind of find a space for this, and it makes it a lot easier rather than trying to create each unit separately. Now also, when you actually get everything set up, you are going to sometimes have to craft or set up things outside of your main complex. And if you look up in the upper left corner of the screen where it says explore, when you get to where you want to set something up, you have to hit here and change it to AIC. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see that I now have the ability to set things up out here using the quick access tool at the bottom of my screen. So that's kind of something, kind of gets you going with the AIC, and you'll kind of get used to it. It is a little bit at first, but if you stick with it and set it up, it's going to be really easy for you. And it's really a big part of the game because it really creates a lot of currency for you. It makes things a lot easier. So the more things you can collect as you like fight and explore, everything from meat from the kills to the vegetation that you see here, you're going to be able to craft. And if you look at here, press B, you can see the orange light. When you gather a certain amount of materials, your crafting ability goes up, and then you'll go to crafting. And then up in the right, you see the crafting manual. And now you see where you can craft and you get more rewards when you maximize it. So that's why when you're exploring, just go ahead and grab everything you can until you get all of this maxed out. So now we have the butterflies. If you play Wuwa, you might see something similar to this, but it's a little different because you don't just follow them to a destination. You have to follow them, and then they kind of break up, and you have to go and touch each group. As you can see here, got this one, and got this one, and then they're going to form again. I know there's one more group I missed. Now they form another group, and you have to go and follow them again. Got another, they broke up again. This one. All right, here's the other group. Here's the third. Now they formed another group, and you follow them again. And then you just happen upon a chest that's kind of hidden. So that's kind of how you do it with the butterflies in this game. It's a little tedious, but at the same time, it's not too bad. So what we see here is Aurylene, and each area has a certain amount of Aurylene for you to collect. And if you go to the map, you see down here at the bottom, it tells you how many that you've collected where I've done 17 of 26. So you see this art, all you have to do is basically just jump up and make contact with it to collect it. And now you see it's 18 of 26. And you can turn these in here. Submit Aurylene. And you can see you can check your progress. I have 2 of 12 to go to the next level. And each level is going to give you a certain amount of rewards. Now, one thing you do want to know when you're exploring, sometimes the Aurylene would actually be almost invisible while it's just a blur. If you get to that point, you see something moving in like a certain pattern, but it's blurry, all you have to do is press R and use your scan, and then it becomes visible, fully visible, so you can collect it. So occasionally you're going to come across a situation like this where you see the plates in the ground, and what you do, you just hit F for view, and you have to kind of memorize the pattern. And now you got to jump and dive punch, or dive attack I should say, in that same order that you just witnessed. And you get a chest. And there are different rewards in different areas, so you get different things for this. And some of it's part of a mission, etc. So in Arknights, you're going to have 2 banners that are always available. What we're looking at here is the featured operator banner. And this banner, you're going to have the chartered HH permit, which will give you a pool. And this one can be used for any featured operator banner, so you can save these if you don't want to use them on the current banner. However, the second one, you can see it has Blitz of Verdance HH permit. These will only be able to be used for this particular banner, so there's no reason to save them. If you don't use them here, they're going to be basically of no use to you. Now, when pulls, you have Aurylene, and it takes 5,000 of these for 10 pulls, so basically 500 a piece. And you can always convert these if you don't have the HH permit. These can provide pools for you. And you also have Origiometry. And basically I have 98 of these. And it's telling me that I can convert 98 of these to 7,350 Aurylene. So I can convert these to be able to get more pools for different operators, or for the featured operator. Now the second banner is going to be the basic headhunting. And this is a permanent banner, it does not change. The featured operator banner does change for each update. So for this one, you're going to have the same 6 stars available at all times. And you can see you have a basic HH permit just for these basic heroes, basic operators. And you can also have the same thing as 5,000 for 10 Aurylene, and you can also convert your Origiometry for pools also. So you have 2 things going on with the pity system in Arknights. You have your 6-star pity, and you have your guaranteed 120 pity. With the 6-star pity, you're guaranteed a 6-star every 80 pools. But that 6-star is going to be a 50-50, meaning you can get one of the featured 6 stars, or you will get one of the generic 6 stars. And this pity, the 6-star pity, does carry over from banner to banner. So that's one good thing about it. But however, if you miss the 50-50 and then you go back and try to do it again, it's not guaranteed. It's still a 50-50 every time. So for your 80 pools. With the guaranteed 120 pity, at 120, you are guaranteed the featured 6-star. So the thing about this one, once you get the 120, it does reset both. So the 6-star pity and the guaranteed 120 pity go back to 0. And the guaranteed 120 pity does not carry over from banner to banner at all. So if you do 60 on one banner and 60 on another, it's not going to count as 120. Now, one thing that is good, or it's kind of good, is after 30 pulls, you'll get a free 10 pulls. But these 10 pulls does not count on your pity. But it is basically 10 pulls at a chance of getting another 6-star. And after 60 pulls, you'll get 10 pulls for the next banner. So those are like 10 that'll kind of be sitting in your stash. And then when the next banner comes, you cash them in and you get a free 10 pulls. And these 10 pulls does count for your pity, the 6-star and the 120 guaranteed. So when you finally start building your operators, or you start putting together your first team, you're gonna have to look at a few things. So let's first look at the weapon. They all come equipped with a generic weapon. However, you can always switch to something better. And when you go to switch, then you can go to recommended, and it's gonna show you the best weapons that are available and whether you own that weapon for that particular operator. And let's just go ahead and give it this and say switch. And now you've changed the weapon to something a little bit stronger than the generic that they start with. Next, let's look at the armor. When an operator, there are different levels of armor. So you can see here you have the 70 that's grayed out because she's not ranked up high enough to use that armor. And you can always just equip the operator with the armor that's best for them. And then you have to equip the gloves. And then you have kit 1 and kit 2. And all of these, and the armor gives attributes such as strength, final damage reduction, agility. And then for the tactical, you can use anything that'll give her a boost. It could be something that would give her an attack boost or a health boost. Great for in-game content. And then you want to look at the ability matrix. This is where she has skills that can make her a lot stronger. You have the basic attacks. You have the skill. Then this is the combo skill or the combo trigger. And this is the ultimate. You can rank these up to make them stronger. And some you're gonna have a different priority depending on the operator and the use, whether they're a support or a main damage dealer. And here's where you will rank them up. Where you can level the hero up from one level. Goes from 0 to 90. So one thing you want to make sure that you should do, if you go to the map, you're gonna see up in the upper right corner is a Dijiang, where basically you have like this ship where you can set up a lot of things. So when you get to Dijiang, you can set up different types of rooms as you progress. And this is the growth chamber. In the growth chamber, this is where you're gonna be able to grow different materials for rank up. So these you can collect these also by exploring, but you can also grow them. So this really helps out in case you kind of get low. And then you also have like 2 manufacturing cabins. This is cabin 1. And here, I've set it up where I'm manufacturing the cognitive carrier. And these you have to use when you're ranking your operators up also. And they can get pretty expensive. So you want to kind of manufacture as many as possible. When you look at the people who are manufacturing over here, the operators that I've chose to work on this room, each one you can look at the ability matrix and you can see that there are certain skills that you can awaken. Like you can see here where if you're assigned to a manufacturing cabin, they grant the operator material production efficiency plus 20%. So you want to make sure you kind of have the right operator in the right room that's going to help your manufacturing or your growth.